Welcome to part 4. I just got back from climbing. I'm drenched in sweat. As you can see, are my climbing shoes, and this backpack is stuffed to the brim with books. It's crazy. Honestly, I think I'm addicted. Look at this. There are so many books. And I am gonna shower. I just wanted to get all the books out. I am too excited about this. I've got some absolutely amazing books that I never ever thought that I would find. Actually insane. This is from one haul. I remember saying in the first video that was the most amount of books that I got in one single run, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 21, 22, 23, 24 books. And they're all amazing. Here's my climbing bag with my chalk in it. So these books are all chalked up. As you can see, I'm absolutely drenched in sweat. So I'm gonna go jump in the shower and then I'll be back with the show and tell. Oh my God.
Why do books suddenly appear every time you are near?
I'm so excited about this. I cannot stop just jumping around. It's absolutely crazy. I will go through the piles of books. Like I said, there are 24 books, I think. Yeah, 24 books from all the different secondhand shops in town. I went to 6 different ones and there was only one place that I didn't get a single book from. So this first one I got for my sister. It's by Mikhail Bulgakov, who was born in Kiev during the 20th century, I think. So he's a Russian and Soviet novelist. His most famous work is The Master and the Margarita, but I am yet to stumble upon that one. It's called Snowstorm and Other Stories. So she was super happy and excited that I found Bulgakov. She wants to read him very much. This next one, I added this to my want to read like yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. This is a paraphrase of one of the books that I just read. It's called Dr. Glass is the book that I read. It's like one of the most Swedish classics. And this is about a character in that book. So this was released in maybe 2002, I think. And the original book was released in, 2004. And the original book was released in 1905. So this is 100 years later. Someone picked up, it's not by the same author, as you could tell by the time difference. So this is someone else who just made up the story from the other person's perspective. And I just feel like that's quite interesting. The character in the book, in the classic, it's not like a lot of people like him that much, and the author also paints this horrible picture of the person, so I'm interested to see how this author chooses to portray him. And then I went to another bookshop and I got 4 books. The first one is The Tao of Pooh, which is an introduction to Taoism using Winnie the Pooh and his friends, and I just thought that this could be super interesting. I don't know much about it, but I thought that it would be interesting, and maybe it's a good introduction to Taoism, and that's always fun to learn new things and new beliefs. And this next one, in Swedish it's Professor Ox's Experiment, but in English it's Dr. Ox's Experiment. It's by French author Jules Verne. I got it for my dad because he recently bought a book. I think he bought the 45 Days Across the Black Sea. So I figured maybe he'd be happy to receive this one. So I bought it for him. This is a book by Victor Hugo. It's called 93 and it's about the French Revolution. Victor Hugo is the same author that wrote Les Miserables and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah, I'm always happy to read some French authors. Next, we have this book. It's called Svensk Flora, which basically is just a book about different ferns in Sweden. But it's so cute. I just thought it was also super cheap and it smells so good. I don't know what that smell is. Maybe someone brought this out on multiple hikes in the woods and they just left it in the grass or in the dirt during whatever they were doing, because you have these pictures, so maybe they were trying to see what species of flowers they found. And I just thought it was super cute. And then the next shop that I went to, I got 6 different books and I'm super happy about them. It's not true, I got 5 different books, but 2 of them of the same one because I'm giving one to my sister. This first one that I got, I'm super excited about. It's by Patrick Modiano, who is a French author. And this is La Petite Bijou, or The Little Jewel. And I actually have it in French right here. So this is it, La Petite Bijou. And this one is the translation in Swedish. It's called Lilla Smycket, because I actually had some trouble reading this in French, so I'm happy to read it in Swedish so that I know what it's about, and then maybe rereading it in French, or reading them in kind of parallel. So that was super cool to have found that one. And then I found some more French authors, or it's just one author. It's Maupassant, and this is Une vie, which is one life or a life, one of his most famous novels, as well as The Olive Orchard. Not quite sure how you pronounce that, and other stories. So this has some of his other stories, and as you might remember, these very much match the Bel Ami that I got in the last video. So I'm super happy to have 3 of the books in the series. And then I got this book by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. It's The Courage to be Disliked. Whenever I go book shopping with my friend, he always says that this is such a good book. So I'm excited to see what The Courage to be Disliked is all about. How to free yourself, change your life, and achieve real happiness. Let's see. And then I got 2 copies, again I'm giving one to my sister, of Ulysses. I have no idea how you pronounce that. And it was my sister who said that I should absolutely get these. I'm not sure what it's about, but I've heard that it's supposed to be quite hard to read. I'm super excited still about it. By James Joyce. I'm not quite sure which cover I like more. This one or this one. A bit smaller and also a cooler back. I think I like this one better. So I think, but I'm not sure which one my sister likes. Maybe she likes that one as well. We'll see. I really feel like I'm pacing through all of these books quite quickly, but that's because I don't have a lot to say about them. I haven't read them, so this is obviously not a book review, and I haven't heard a lot about them. I've heard of them, so that's why I'm excited to pick them up, and then eventually you'll see some videos of reviews of these books, and if not, then you might see them in my bookshelf in the background. But here is the last pile of 12 books that I am so excited for. I almost didn't go to this bookshop. The only reason I went was because of the Kafka book that I showed you in the last video. It's part of a series, and I thought that maybe they would have The Trial, or they would have America, or they would have The Castle. So I had to go back. It started to rain and I was like, oh, but also it's so fun riding the bike in the rain. I was just a bit scared for these books. I didn't want them to get water damaged. When I got there to this bookshop, I saw Hermann Hesse is a Swiss-German author. I never thought that I would find this. This is called Steppenwolf in English. It's Steppvargen in Swedish. And my sister has been talking about this for such a long time that she really want to find this. This is like her dream secondhand find. And I found it. It was just sitting on the shelf and I was like, whoop! I have no idea what this book is about. All I know is that my sister is constantly talking about this. She's always talking about Hermann Hesse. He wrote Siddhartha as well, and she has been talking so much about this one, and I do think that this is the cover that she's interested in. I didn't show her this one. I'm gonna gift it to her, and I think she'll be so surprised and so happy. She's gonna visit in a couple of days. I showed her all of the other ones and she was super excited, but I did not show her this one. But it's crazy that I found this. And then I found this absolutely gorgeous book. This was at a shelf that I usually check and they never have anything that I'm interested in. And then I found Dune. I am so happy about this. This is such a great cover. And the book, I'm not sure. I've heard so many different things about this book. I know that J.R.R. Tolkien said that he didn't enjoy it. He recognized Frank Herbert as being a great author and that the book is really well written, but that he didn't like the story or the world. I feel like I really like the story. I've seen the movies. I have no idea how good of a job they did depicting the book, but I am super excited because this seems to have the 3 books. I think there are only 3. It's Dune, Muad'Dib, and the Prophet. And then there's Appendix 1, Appendix 2, Appendix 3, Appendix 4. And they're like terminology of the Imperium, map, cartographic notes, the religion of Dune, the ecology of Dune, report on something, I'm not quite sure what that is. I feel like this is going to be such a great read. I am so into this and I'm so happy that I found it. I am so happy that I did. That's like one of the best finds of today. And then I found this, which is just a super fun little thing to have. This is like a medicine handbook, like a dictionary, but for all things medicine, which is great. And this next one is such a random little find. It's Fairy Tales by Hans Andersen. I think it's Hans Christian Andersen, a Danish author, fairy taler. And basically he has written all the fairy tales that basically all Disney movies are based upon, like The Emperor's New Clothes and The Little Mermaid. I think he wrote The Snow Princess as well. The Snow Queen, it's right here, that Frozen is based upon. And this would originally be in Danish. And seeing as I'm Swedish, I feel like it would be fun to have it in Danish or Swedish, but English will absolutely do. I don't know if you know this, Swedish people, we do not understand the Danes. They understand us. At least not spoken Danish. Maybe written Danish would be easier, so I still really want to find this in Danish, but I'm super happy to have this in English as well. And I feel like I could read it to my kids in the future. This next one is, I think, my 12th book, so I got it for free. I just picked whichever one I thought sounded the most interesting because I had already picked the other 11 ones. So there was not too many more books that really tickled my fancy. But this, I thought it would be super interesting. It's Karl Marx' Människans frigörelse. Not quite sure how you would translate this. It's not one of his works, but it's a collection of texts that he wrote in his youth before publishing the Communist Manifest. And I just feel like communism, people always talk about it. People call each other communists. I have not read, I think, a single word of Karl Marx, and I feel like even if I don't agree with him, I feel like everyone has something interesting to tell you. So I feel like it's interesting to take part of his thoughts about ideology, about economy, about society, different classes in society. And next we got 2 books from the same series. This is The Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. He's a Russian and Soviet author who received the Nobel Prize in Literature, I think in 1970, for raising a global awareness about the Gulag prison systems. I'm sure that this is really a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching read, but I'm happy to learn more about history and to be more educated about different systems of oppression. And I feel like Soviet is not one nation to be free of oppression. So I'm happy to read this to learn more about the history. And speaking of history, this is a super old book. It's from 1774. It's by Johannes Wolf von Goethe, I think it is. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, yeah. And he's a German author. This is The Sorrows of Young Werther, or just Werther apparently. And in Swedish, it's Den unge Werthers lidande. So just this word, lidande, to me, I feel like sorrows isn't really the same. It doesn't have the same feeling as lidande. Lidande is really like you're in agony. You're suffering. It's suffering. So this would be The Sufferings of Young Werther if you were to translate just this Swedish title. This is about a love drama. And I won't spoil it too much, but if you're interested, you can Google Werther fever. And basically, I feel like that's the first kind of case of fanboys, where young boys in Europe would dress up as this character and kind of copycat him. There's a way darker side to it as well, if you read up on it. So Werther fever, it's a super tragic and really horrible story indeed. Such an old book that apparently it's one of the first bestsellers. I feel like this is a classic that I am actually gonna be a bit cautious to read. And so we're down to the last 4 pieces of literature that I'm the most excited about that I found. The first one is by Marcel Proust. And this is actually quite funny because I know of this author. He's a French author. It's Comme 1. There's Comrade 2, and then there are 2 other parts. So 4 parts make up 1 part of his series In Search of Lost Time, which in Swedish is På spaning efter tid som flytt, which to me it's such a poetic and kind of, in a way, romantic title. In Search of Lost Time. This apparently is a really good book, but I feel like I will never be able to read it because this is 1/4 of 1/7. And it could be the case that the other 6 parts don't have 4 parts. Maybe they have 7 parts, or maybe they have 2. But so on average, maybe each part has 4 parts. So then that's still 4 times 7, which is 28. So 28 of these. I'll read this one and probably enjoy it a bunch, but I do not think that I will read the other 27 remaining books. But I was super happy to find this. Okay, now I have 3 classics that when I saw them in this box, I was just like grabbing them like the praying mantis. It was crazy. I did not want anyone else to find these because they're amazing. Look at this beautiful cover. It's Dostoevsky's Demons. This is part 3. So apparently this is in 3 parts. 1, 2, and obviously 3. This is also the Dolphin series, just like this Proust, but as you can see, they're quite different in the covers. I love this cover. It's so cool. The colors are absolutely beautiful. I really want to find the first and the second part. I'm a bit sad. I'm not sad at all, but it's a bummer that this isn't the first part because then I could start reading it immediately. But this, I just hope to find the other 2, and if not, maybe I'll look for them in an antique shop because this is such a beautiful design. And I saw a YouTube short or a reel, I think, about Dostoevsky, and they said that he was exiled to Siberia, and before the exile he wrote White Nights, for example, which has a theme of love, and when he was released from the exile he wrote the 4 books Demons, The Idiot, The Brothers Karamazov, and his maybe biggest work, Crime and Punishment. But I don't think that Dostoevsky readers would say that Crime and Punishment is his magnum opus, but rather, I don't know, The Idiot or Brothers Karamazov. But I feel like most people have heard about Crime and Punishment. My sister and I, when we were talking on the phone today, we mentioned Kafka, and we were like, why are there never any Kafkas in store? Because we are yet to find one, except for the one that I found and showed you yesterday. But that wasn't really a story, it was and other stories. But today I found these 2. These were also in that same box, and I grabbed them so quickly. This is America by Franz Kafka, and I actually don't know a lot about America, but it says here that Kafka has 3 big novels, and this I think is one of them, and then The Castle, and then it's probably The Trial. So I think it's The Trial, The Castle, and America. So I'm yet to find. I really also like this series. This is a competitor to the Dolphin series. It's by another publisher. This is amazing. I was so happy to find these because I don't even need to give a reason. They're such a good find. Look at this line art. Look at this beautiful minimalistic cover. And then this one also is kind of in the same design. And this one is blue and the other one is red. I really want to find The Trial as well. So that was it. Those were the 24 books. Look at this. It's absolutely, it's a pile of books. Like I said a couple of videos back, I'm moving. So when I move back home and I get my big bookshelf, and I will also get a smaller bookshelf, I'm gonna do a haul or like a tour of my bookshelf where I'll just show you kind of how I organize it. And then I will probably also show you all of the secondhand books that I got, because I've been, like you can tell from these hauls, I have bought a lot of books recently, but they're so cheap and they're amazing. They're such good books. I think I haven't read all of them. These are my favorite finds today, the Kafka and this Dostoevsky, as well as the Dune book. I almost feel, or seem at least, most excited about this one, but it's just because I really didn't expect this. I also didn't expect any of these, but these are more classic books that I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to find these books. So of course, in one way that makes me more excited to have found them, but this just really surprised me. I think it's because I'm so surprised, and that I don't know why, but I just got really excited to read this. And then, of course, the Steppenwolf to give to my sister. So these 5 books alone. On top of that, I also have Proust and The Tales and Ulysses, and I started to speak French, and I think it is time to end this video because I have been sitting on the floor for way too long. There will be a part 5 of this series. I don't think this series will ever end. I'll just keep buying books, and eventually you'll see me read them, and I'll make a review of the books. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.